Hi everyone, Samuel L. Fronsman here again with another short vlog about Crimson Knight. First off, before I begin, I want to give everybody who has contributed to us so far a very huge thank you. Every single contribution goes such a long way towards making this dream become a reality. Alright, Crimson Knight scene 22A, take 1. Today, I want to help peel back the curtain just a little bit onto what went on into making our proof of concept while on set. The very first scene that we shot was actually the scene where the detectives are questioning the witness. And since this was more of a long dialogue-heavy scene, it was definitely one of the more time-consuming scenes to shoot that day.
Taking classes here for 2 years now.
So while we were all busy shooting that scene, Carissa Van Boegelen helped save us time later in the day by already getting started on applying her makeup for a scene that we were going to be shooting later on. Now, I've sung Carissa's praise quite a bit here before, but it never goes without saying just how impressive that she is, whether she's in front of the camera or behind the camera. She multitasked like none other that day, being responsible for many tasks, including doing her own makeup and choreographing her own dance sequence, all while also being one of our principal actresses that day in front of the camera too. One aspect of the production that I don't think gets talked about enough is the relationship and the dynamic between the director and the first assistant director. And in the case of the Crimson Knight proof of concept, I had the added advantage of my mom, Melinda Fronsman, actually serving as my first AD. And she was, as always, super helpful. And so when we had wrapped with the first scene that we were shooting that day with the detectives questioning the witness, I called, everyone to take 5, and my mom and I went outside and had some time to be able to regroup and kind of structure out what the rest of the day would ultimately look like for us. So the next scene that we decided to knock out for the proof of concept that day was we wanted to go ahead and shoot the exterior scene where the detectives first arrive and are questioning the first responding officer, played by Jennifer Rizzi Horvath. And although the scene did, I would say, it went pretty smoothly overall, especially in terms of the actors between Adam, James, and Jennifer. I thought the crew did amazing. It wasn't completely without its hiccups. The biggest challenge actually with shooting that scene was we had blocked it to be right by a staircase that would lead up to the back entrance of the theater that we were at. And as it turns out, it was quite a hot day out, and there was an air conditioning unit that was right there outside of the building, pretty much on full blast. And so sound was a little bit of a struggle for us, but fortunately, when it came time to edit the movie and put some things together in post-production, I was able to do a lot of audio cleanup and denoising that ended up saving the scene and keeping the audio sounding nice and crisp when you watch it in the finished product.
I just hope you're ready.
Not our first rodeo.
So when we went back inside, the next scene that I wanted to shoot was actually when the detectives are investigating the body of Leslie on the stage, and they're assessing the crime scene. But I decided that in order to get one of our actors, James L. Edwards, wrapped sooner, we would shoot it out of sequence, and the part where his character, the coroner Edward Lionel, shows up, we actually shot first. Now, this was a lot of fun to shoot, especially because Lonnie is just a fun person to work with on set, and I wrote the character that he's playing in such a way that he adds a lot more humor to what's otherwise a pretty dark narrative. And so I wanted to kind of build onto that level of humor and charm that his character is going to be bringing throughout the movie. And in our introduction shot to him in the proof of concept, we shot it in kind of a slick manner that almost kind of resembles like you would expect a guest star in a sitcom when they're making their grand entrance. I mean, everything's there, and the only thing missing for that would have been like an applause track. And then finally, once we were all done with all the heavy dialogue scenes, We had one more scene left to shoot, and we actually shot the entire thing without sound. But it was definitely the most intricate in terms of action, in terms of choreography, in terms of movement. That was the big dance slash kill sequence that, when you watch the proof of concept, actually opens everything up. But we saved that one for last to shoot, and once again, all the love and respect in the world goes to Carissa. She was definitely a trooper. Some people that know her know that she's usually involved on a lot of different projects at the same time, and she's like the queen of multitasking. Really, she was on her top level that day. And same goes to our cinematographer, Richard Russell, and he was responsible for capturing those shots. And Richard, for anyone who hasn't worked with him or hasn't seen one of his projects, has such a unique way of viewing things. He watches a lot of movies, and because of that, he's able to see things through so many different and unique lenses that some of the ideas he has in terms of capturing the scenes that we're shooting really goes that extra mile in terms of creativity and in terms of movement and fluidity. And he was at the top of his level, you know, just with all the movement and blocking he had to do on his end, keeping up with Carissa's, you know, high energy that she had on stage. And I thought Richard did such a great job of capturing all of that elegance and really bringing that to life on camera, as well as capturing all the suspense and the horror that we were getting during that scene too.
To the couch, because you end up over by the corner of the couch right there.
And finally, I really want to give another huge and special shout out to somebody who I can't name, unfortunately. I'd love to name him, because the fact is he's absolutely incredible, terrific, and when you do see him and you do know who he is, and you'll know who he is next year when you watch Crimson Night, and when you see more, you'll figure it out. And that's kind of the fun of it, and that's why I'm not gonna spoil anything at the moment. But our mystery cast member, man, is he awesome, and he absolutely nailed it with his part of the scene too. So anyways, that's really all I wanted to come on here and share today, just to give you all a little bit of an update, as well as, you know, kind of take a look behind the scenes, what goes on into the process of filmmaking. And if you're really liking what you're seeing and you really are intrigued and you're invested in wanting to know what's going to happen next with Crimson Night, and you want to see the full feature film, then we need your help. We're still currently fundraising on Indiegogo. And even though we're definitely making some progress, we honestly have a very long way to go. And every contribution, it adds up. Something as small as $5, it builds, and it builds, and it all takes us to the next level of being able to bring you all this exciting thriller that I think it's going to have people on the edge of their seats. So thank you again for tuning in, watching. Thank you for all the love and support. And I will see you in our next update, as well as just across all platforms with everything Crimson Night. Thank you all, and take care.